Sightings. I'm Tim White. Tonight, an unprecedented review of the best UFO footage that we've received since Sightings first began asking for your videotapes. Out of the hundreds of photos and tapes that we have received, only a few can truly be called UFOs. Most of the material has been dismissed by our investigative team as conventional aircraft, atmospheric phenomena, or hoaxes. But there are some that defy explanation, even by the experts who make it their business to study UFOs. Tucson, Arizona. Topeka, Kansas. Bellevue, Wisconsin. Gulf Breeze, Florida. Branford, Connecticut. New Boston, New Hampshire. Kanazawa, Japan. Carp, Ontario. Something is happening in the skies above these cities, and it's being captured on videotape.
It was a ship. It was a ship as big as my house.
It was a total feeling of awe and knowing that I was looking at something that I didn't know what it was.
I think there's no doubt about the fact that it's the most dramatic thing and the most astounding thing, the most important thing that could happen here on Earth.
In Branford, Connecticut, George Bennett was videotaping a high school football game when this beautiful sunset caught his attention. But watch what appears unexpectedly on the left-hand side of the screen. In Bellevue, Wisconsin, local TV cameraman Dave Hooker was taping this windmill for a story about a local farm. When he viewed the tape back at the station, this is what he found. Jeff Sainio is a video analyst who studies hundreds of tapes of alleged UFOs every year.
Here you can see an object moving behind a windmill here. Right there, it disappears into a cloud just before it goes behind this windmill. Clouds that day were at 25,000 feet, cirrus clouds. You know where the camera was put, you know the distance to the windmill, you can determine its size by looking at the image size here. Go through some trigonometry, and you'll find out that that UFO is about 10 miles away, up at 25,000 feet, and the size works out to about 500 feet long and doing 14,000 miles an hour, which is, again, nothing that a conventional aircraft is capable of doing.
Gulf Breeze, Florida has been a UFO hotspot for more than 6 years. Resident Bruce Morrison has made 177 sightings since 1988. On September 2nd, 1991, Morrison was out with a group of friends when he recorded this object with his home video camera.
Oh, look, it's brighter, brighter. There's another one. Oh, look at now. Who is that?
Look, drop! Look!
Yes. White again, there it goes. White again. Yo, look, it's right there.
Just drop something out, Gary. We've had it drop these little objects out, and they would go out at an angle from the red object we were looking at, stop and turn red, and we would have two red objects sitting there.
It gives you the impression of sometimes of fireworks. Sometimes it looks like a string coming out with a white ball on the end of it.
These startling videos are due in large part to the home video revolution. The proliferation of UFOs on tape has analysts working overtime, including Robert Nathan of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
My feeling is the majority of the people who see something at night in the sky are telling a legitimate story in the sense that they certainly believe what they're seeing. But there are some people who are actively performing hoaxes, and it's a very difficult thing to separate these people.
This is a rare daytime sighting recorded in Kanazawa, Japan. A shiny, reflective disc descends rapidly, then suddenly, with tremendous speed, the disc shoots off at an acute angle. Watch closely as the camera zooms in. The outline of a saucer shape is unmistakable, but is this a true UFO or an optical illusion created by the sun? On August 19th, 1991, in the town of Carp, on the outskirts of Ottawa, Ontario, An anonymous videotaper shot some of the most compelling UFO footage ever recorded.
In February of 1992, I received a rather unusual package in the mail, included a videotape and a series of documents. It was postmarked from the Ottawa, Ontario area without a return address. The documents and the label on the videotape made reference to an individual by the name of Guardian as the author.
The videotape shows what appears to be a disc-shaped object landing in a field behind the house of Diane Labinek. She was an eyewitness to the phenomenon.
On my property, I've seen lots of bright flames. They were not like spreading fires. There were more individual flames going extremely high and a lot of smoke. I saw this bright light. Right on top of it was like a beak, and it was blue light pulsing, and it had a light right on the bottom and a light right in the middle of it. And I seen a ship just coming down over the tree and going very closer to the flames. That night was a very traumatic night for me. I can always remember that night. It will never be forgotten.
Dr. A.J. Quarrington is one of the Labinek's neighbors. He also witnessed the UFO.
I looked out the back window, and in the sky was a great golden globe with a thin red rim. The only thing that came to mind quickly was that it was lightning, but I'd never seen lightning in a circular form.
There you can get some indication that you're looking underneath with lights on it, and then see a surface on the top here. This is a freeze frame here. You can see some indication of a bottom, and then actually from the glow behind it, you get kind of a silhouette of the shape of it. So from this aim, you can see some indication that there's a solid craft there that you can see the top of and also see something underneath. But at least there is the hint of a cylindrical object here.
One of the first things that we found when we located the site way at the back of the field down there by the tree line was that there was one specific area, a circular pattern really, where all of the plant life had been exposed to some form of radiation. And by that I mean it just kind of melted. Real healthy bushes just melted to the ground.
The footage was so compelling, we went straight to the Canadian Air Force, trying to rule out the possibility that the UFO is a secret military craft.
The events described, shown, do not match any of Canadian airplane movements or helicopter movement.
It wasn't an ordinary airplane, and it wasn't just an ordinary light. It was something more than that. It was a ship. It was a ship as big as my house.